Hi everybody, it's Martin from the Washboard Resonators. On this week's video, it's another guitar story. So I'm going to feature this really rather beautiful and interesting 1929 National Triolian Mandolin. So I've owned this instrument about a year and a bit now, and I actually met this instrument many years before. So I'm going to tell you the story of how it came to be owned by me, and I'll play it so you can hear what an old vintage National Mandolin actually sounds like. So it's September 2021. I bought this instrument about a year or so ago from a friend of mine in Grimsby, which is a town about an hour and a half away. And I bought a bunch of instruments off him on the day I bought this. And I was looking for a mandolin anyway for a long time, and this came up, and the guy had a good price on it if I bought a few instruments. So I bought it, and you know what? When he brought it to me to have a look at in his house, the first thing I thought was, hang on a second, this looks really familiar, and I couldn't place it. And then he told me, you know what? I bought this from Wunjo, which is a shop on Denmark Street in London. It's where all the great guitar shops are in London, or a lot of them. And very historical place, famous for Elton John working there for a long time, and the Sex Pistols living there, and Jimi Hendrix and the Beatles buying instruments there. Very amazing place. And yeah, so I was like, oh, do you know what? I know this instrument. So if you go back to about 2017, I was on tour with the Washboard Resonators. We were playing a gig in Battersea. We had a Saturday evening show and a Sunday evening show. I think that's what it was. So I had Sunday day free. Jack was going to go meet some buddies, and I thought, well, I'll leave him to it. So I walked from Battersea to central London, past Buckingham Palace and all that kind of stuff, through Soho and the West End, and went to Denmark Street. And this was in the window and of Wunjo, and I saw it, and I was like, that's beautiful. And it was, fairly okay price. And the guy there kind of knew me a little bit, and he got it out, said, oh, have a look at this, Martin. And I said, what's the best price? And he rang up the owner and said, all right, we can knock about 200 quid off. £200, about $300 off the price, and he said, do you want it? And I was like, oh, that's really tempting. Let me think about it. And I went for a coffee, and I thought, well, you know what? I'll put the money towards a vintage 6-string. I was really close to pulling the trigger. I was really like, oh, that'd be really beautiful to have. So I really liked it. I liked the sound. And that's when I realised that this is the same one I played in about 2017 that I bought in 2020. And it's so weird now that, it's here. Quite often I'll just pick this up and have a little play on it. And I find myself thinking, it's so funny that, of course this ended up with me. I've been buying a lot of vintage Nationals and, hope to buy more, and Dobros. And I wanted a mandolin one day. What could be more beautiful than a 1929 one? So let's look at some details, and then let's hear how it sounds. So it's a 1929, you can tell by the serial number. So it's pretty flipping early. I think the first mandolins were done in about 28. You can tell that it's one of the very early metal mandolins. It has this lip next to the cover plate. There's no ribs on the cover plate. It's got the sort of beautiful Triolian kind of brown burst finish. You'll see it's got some wear on it. You can see it's definitely had there's obviously a little bang there at some point, but it's had quite a lot of wear on it. Something that you see a lot with vintage Nationals, and especially mandolins, people reckon, is this. You'll see that the tailpiece is on the verge of splitting. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, this happens a lot. So this is something I need to go and get laser welded at some point. And there's a little split there. So at some point I could really do with getting this kind of worked on. I did take it to Beltona Instruments, one of the world resonator experts recently. He had a look over it and was like, yeah, there's a few things we can do to sort that out. You'll see as well that it makes a very nice set with my 31 Triolian guitar. One of the things that you may notice is that, obviously these things were sprayed, by different people, different weeks. So you'll see that the Triolian colours aren't always kind of standardized. This one's much more yellower and chocolater. Chocolater? Chocolater? Oh, I don't know. Chocolater. Chocolatey. Ah, chocolatey. Oh no, I'm not going to put that out. And yeah, you'll see that this one is a bit more kind of browny, but they still make a nice set. So how does it sound? Well, I'm not much of a mandolin player. I know little bits and bobs and some songs and stuff, but what I'll do is I'll just give you an idea of some very simple kind of chords and, you know, the kind of projection. What you should hear you know, if you're like a mandolin player, a real mandolin player, you'll know that like Gibson F mandolins, they have that beautiful, clean, cutting kind of backbeat. This doesn't do that. So there we go. I hope that's of interest to a lot of you people out there. I do, you know, have conversations with people that follow the channel and are really interested in resonators and the history. And a few people have inquired about this over the last year or so because they've seen it in the background. So I hope that's of interest. It's a fun little story. If you want to help the band, the best thing you can do is join the mailing list. That's the biggest help. Otherwise, subscribing and just leaving a comment actually helps us a lot. You know what? Otherwise, yeah, like, thank you very much, everybody. And do check out some more of the guitar stories. This is about the 12th guitar story now. You know, and there's a whole playlist. So go and have a look and see if it's of interest. So thank you very much. Bye-bye for now.